And while passions and politics can often obscure the hard work before us, let's be clear about what this moment demands. We are at war.
And that war is against the kind of terrorism that authorities say a Nigerian man attempted when he allegedly tried to bomb a U.S. airliner bound for Detroit on Christmas Day. President Obama promised to use every element of national power to keep Americans safe. Some security experts say that President Obama avoids comparing the war on terrorism to conventional war between nations, but he has taken several steps to contain the threat.
People don't realize that President Obama has really intensified the effort to go after al-Qaeda Central in Afghanistan and Pakistan. The drone strikes have really intensified under his tenure. He famously, after much deliberation, is increasing the number of troops placed in Afghanistan.
President Obama is doing something that his predecessor did not do, says the Aspen Institute's Clark Erwin.
Is the struggle for the hearts and minds of the Muslim community here in the United States and around the world.
Former Vice President Dick Cheney accuses Mr. Obama of pretending not to be at war with terrorist organizations. But Jacob Shapiro at Princeton University says the use of the word war actually helps the terror groups.
It plays into the narrative that they're trying to construct with the populations they're appealing to, of this ragged band of brave individuals fighting the mighty power that's oppressing their society. So it plays into that metaphor. And it also it helps their efforts, in some sense, to create fear and anxiety in our population.
Paul Pillar at Georgetown University says if it is not war, then the Obama administration needs to spell out the exact nature of the struggle. The former CIA veteran says there should be an open debate about what price Americans are willing to pay for security against terrorism.
It might be privacy, it might be personal liberty, it might be the convenience of the traveling public, it might be monetary costs, it often is monetary cost. It might be costs in blood and treasure for military operations overseas, as in Afghanistan.
Michael German of the American Civil Liberties Union says the American public does not fully understand what is at stake in the war against terrorism.
And I think that's something that this administration needs to address immediately, and they're already a year behind.
But German says the Obama administration should get credit for not giving up American values while fighting against terrorists.
Our policies and procedures actually do express American values. Tolerance, transparency, respect for the rule of law and due process. Those things ultimately will keep us stronger and protect us better than any sort of effort to stomp out who we perceive as the bad guys.
Clark Erwin at the Aspen Institute agrees, but he says the recent failed airplane bomb attack makes clear Mr. Obama's administration must do more to combat terrorism. Security officials have to anticipate the next attack.
One of the things that we need to start doing is to get ahead of the curve by trying to anticipate additional methods that could be used against us and closing the gaps before those gaps are exploited.
Security experts agree that given the number of targets and the infinite ways they can be exploited, security can never be 100%. But they say that does not mean the Obama administration can lower its guard and stop working toward achieving that. Ravi Khanna, VOA News, Washington.